Dun Shows World.
Welcome to Shows World Gamers, Josh here, and as this week draws to a close, I wanted to take a moment to look at this week's new game releases, gaming announcements, and a few news stories. If this is your first time on the channel, do me a favor and hit that subscribe button and join in on the fun. Alright gamers, as always we will start off with this week's new game releases. Now Bayonetta Origins, Cereza, and the Lost Demon released this week exclusively on the Nintendo Switch. This origin story follows a much younger Bayonetta in a three-quarter top-down action-adventure style game that looks a lot different than what we are used to in the mainline games. There is a demo available for this game on the Switch, and I definitely suggest giving it a try. WWE 2K23 released this week on the PlayStation 4, the PlayStation 5, PC, and Xbox One and Xbox Series systems. The latest in the long-running professional wrestling video game series is always a popular release, and I'm hearing there have been some much-needed improvements in this year's edition. Anno 1800 received its console edition launch on Xbox systems. The game is a city-building, real-time strategy game beginning at the dawn of the Industrial Age, one of the most exciting and fast-changing periods of time. The Legend of Heroes Trials of Azure received a release this week on the Nintendo Switch, as well as on PlayStation systems. The game was published by NIS America and is a remake of a 2011 PlayStation Portable game in the popular Trials RPG series that is part of the larger Legends of Heroes collection of games. Wolcen Lords of Mayhem received a console release this week on both PlayStation and Xbox systems. The game is a classic RPG game in the style of games like Diablo, and it looks like a lot of fun with epic bosses and hordes of enemies to battle. Next up, let's take a look at some gaming announcements. Now, Shame Legacy received an announcement trailer this week. The game is a first-person survival horror set in a forsaken cultist village. So far, we know the game is coming to PC. We have not received any announcement on a release date or a console release. Symbiogenesis received a trailer this week from publisher Square Enix. Now, this is the long-rumored and heavily discussed first attempt by the publisher to make a game using NFTs and blockchain technology. We also received an announcement for the Xbox players out there as the previously PlayStation 5 exclusive Ghostwire Tokyo will be coming to Xbox Series systems, as well as getting a release on Xbox Game Pass on April 12th. Now, Sea of Stars, the upcoming classic-style RPG, received another announcement trailer this week, this time with the unveiling of an Xbox version of the game also coming alongside the previous announced Nintendo Switch, PlayStation, and PC versions. The turn-based RPG game is scheduled for release on August 29th, and the more gamers that get an opportunity to play this game, the better, because it's looking like an absolute masterpiece. Alright gamers, let's finish up with a few news stories from this week in gaming. Now, the final episode of the first season of HBO's adaptation of the popular PlayStation series The Last of Us wrapped up this week, and I really enjoyed it, and am looking forward to Season 2. Season 1 covered the entirety of the first game, although cramming the whole game into 9 episodes didn't give much room for the characters' relationships to breathe. I personally would have liked them to stretch the storyline out over multiple seasons, but I still highly recommend giving this a watch. Now, rumors exploded this week that a PlayStation 5 Pro is not only in the works, but it's confirmed with a tentative release date of late 2024. And also, the previously discussed PS5 model with the detachable disk drive plan to replace the current models available now is scheduled for later this year. Personally, I don't think a PS5 Pro model makes a whole lot of sense. I could see a slim model where Sony redesigns the console to make it more profitable, but with modern TVs, they just haven't caught up with the current system's tech just yet, so I don't see much need for a PS5 Pro. Now, the Pokemon Company continues to cruise along with huge sales of its latest Pokemon games, Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. Now, unfortunately, even after updates, the game is an absolute mess. So reports this week that the company was beginning to hire to add more manpower to work in the company's gaming division was a positive direction. That is, until we find out the positions they are looking for must specialize in NFTs and blockchain technology. Alright gamers, that concludes this week in review for the week ending on March 17. The week started with us getting a look at the Mario boots on display at the New York Nintendo store. Then, rumors started to heat up of a pro version of the PS5 being in the works, and the week ended as we celebrated St. Patrick's Day. But let me know anything we may have missed in the comments, and thanks for joining us today gamers. Shoge World, out.